You feel like you've been walking in circles and that no matter how hard you try, solutions just won't come. I want you to know that the weight you carry on your shoulders is not permanent. Today, you're going to understand why things have been so difficult and how that's about to change. Join me in these few minutes, because what I'm about to tell you is the answer you were looking for to regain your peace. You don't need to do anything complicated. Just listen with an open heart. This message is meant to show you the relief that is already on its way. Sometimes life feels like an overwhelming burden, and it's normal to wonder if anyone is truly listening to our prayers. You probably experience that feeling at the end of the day. You sit on the edge of your bed, and the silence of the house seems to amplify all those worries that keep you from resting. It's in those quiet moments that spiritual guidance becomes most needed. I've noticed that many people go through periods where it seems like the sky is closing on them. You work, you take care of your family, you try to do things right, but positive results seem to elude you. However, there are very clear signs that this period of stagnation is ending. True transformation doesn't begin with an external event, but with inner clarity that allows you to see opportunities that were previously hidden. Paying attention to this message will help you identify these signs in your own life. It's curious how we often say we have faith when everything is going well, but true faith is tested when the numbers aren't in our favor or when our family's health gives us a scare. It's easy to talk about hope in a place of prayer, but what really matters is what you feel when you turn off the light and are alone with your thoughts. That knot in your chest you sometimes feel isn't a lack of faith. It's simply your humanity searching for a way out. God knows your situation perfectly. You don't need to explain how much you lack or what hurts you, because He's been present in every tear you've shed in secret. Spiritual maturity comes when we understand that our current difficulties are merely the groundwork for something much more stable and lasting. Your well-being is a priority. And today we're going to delve into how to receive the peace you so deeply desire. We often focus so much on the problem that we forget the solution usually comes in unexpected ways. It's not about waiting for a stroke of luck, but about aligning yourself with a frequency of gratitude and preparedness. Stay with me, because we're going to explore practical steps to help you stop merely surviving and start living life to the fullest. Have you ever wondered if there's a purpose behind this waiting period? The answer is a resounding yes. Nothing you've been through has been in vain. Every moment of doubt has served to strengthen your character and prepare you for stability that's coming. It's crucial that you listen to every word of this reflection, because the key to your progress lies in the details we often overlook in the daily rush. Think about it for a moment and be totally honest with yourself. How many times have you felt like you couldn't take it anymore, and out of nowhere, a door opened? That solution that arrived when you least expected. It was not a coincidence. It was a higher guidance. We often attribute relief to luck, but the reality is that there's a force always protecting you. Don't let the noise of the world make you forget the moments when you were rescued. It's vital that you recognize these signs today, so that discouragement doesn't get the better of you. It's incredible how our memory seems to fail us when a new difficulty arises. We focus so much on the current obstacle that we erase all previous victories from our minds. Sometimes we act as if it's the first time we face a challenge, forgetting that we've already weathered storms that seemed insurmountable. The divine presence in your life isn't something that happened once and then disappeared. It's a constant that remains steadfast, even when your doubts are stronger than your certainty. The same force that has maintained the balance of the universe since the beginning is the one supporting your home and family right now. It's not that wonders have stopped happening or that spiritual support has run out. The problem is that amidst daily worries, we lose our sense of wonder. I want to invite you to reflect on your own story, and you'll see that there's always been an invisible hand preventing you from falling into the abyss. To better understand this, visualize for a moment a life or death situation. Imagine a group of people trapped between an insurmountable wall of water and imminent danger approaching from behind. There was no human way out, no logic that could explain how to survive. That's the feeling many of you have today. You feel cornered by responsibilities and problems that seem endless. However, at that historical moment, the solution didn't come from a strategic plan, but from an absolute belief that the impossible can become possible. Those families who walked in fear, carrying what little they had, didn't know that the obstacle before them would become their path to freedom. What you see today as an insurmountable barrier, tomorrow will be a testament to how you manage to move forward toward a more peaceful life. The support you receive from above is unconditional. It doesn't depend on your being perfect or never being afraid. That army that pursued the ancients, representing the greatest problems of their time, could not overcome the spiritual protection that covered them. In the same way, your current worries, however large and formidable they may seem, do not have the power to destroy you if you choose to remain connected to hope. Your current well-being depends on how much you trust that you are not fighting this battle alone. Did you know that most of the time relief arrives just a second before we decide to give up? It's a lesson in patience and foresight. Don't despair if the results aren't immediate. Perseverance in your faith is what will open the paths that seem blocked today. Keep listening, because in the next part we're going to discover how to maintain that calm when the outlook seems bleak. That feeling of being between a rock and a hard place is something we have all experienced. It seems there's no way out, that on one side the past is chasing you, and on the other you have a wall that won't let you move forward. It's human to feel fear when problems seem bigger than your strength. But today I want to tell you that stagnation is not your final destination. Pay close attention to what follows, because you'll understand why stopping now would be the one mistake you cannot afford to make. Imagine yourself for a moment on that shore. Behind you, the noise of what torments you. Before you, an abyss of uncertainty. Those people we spoke about felt exactly the same. They had no tools, no plan B, only their own vulnerability. It's easy to judge other people's fear, but when your own stability is at stake, logic is often clouded by anguish. Even in moments of deepest doubt, when complaining seems to be the only language we know, there's a clear instruction that comes from the spiritual realm. It's not about sitting around waiting for everything to magically resolve itself, while we lament what we lack. True connection with the divine is demonstrated when, despite not seeing the path ahead, you decide to take the next step with determination. The instruction was direct. Keep going. It's a simple phrase, but charged with the power that breaks down any barrier. Sometimes we freeze, searching for signs, when the greatest sign is a life that still beats in our chest. Moving forward when everything seems closed is the purest act of trust there is. And it is precisely there that the extraordinary happens. When that will is set in motion, the landscape changes. What was once an insurmountable obstacle becomes a bridge to your new stage. Visualize how that which terrified you steps aside to let you pass. This protection isn't a story of the past. It's a reality you can experience today if you decide to replace your complaint with action filled with hope. It's fascinating to see how the same situation can be interpreted in two ways, as a tragic end or as a glorious beginning. Those waters that once represented a threat ended up being a refuge for those who trusted in them, and a barrier to what sought to destroy them. Your current problems have no power to reach you if you keep moving toward the peace that has been promised to you. Think about what would have happened if discouragement had won that battle. Stories of overcoming adversity, entire families, and a bright future would have been lost. The same is true for you. If you allow the fear of the unknown to stop you, you're giving up on the strongest and most blessed version of yourself. Your story doesn't end at the edge of the problem. Your story continues just on the other side of fear. The spiritual support that surrounds you is far more real than your eyes can see. Don't let the magnitude of the challenge make you forget who you are and who is your back. Continuing to listen to this reflection is a first step towards strengthening that inner security that will allow you to cross any sea that lies before you today. If you give up today, you would be erasing the evidence of what you could have overcome. Many stop just before seeing the light. But you've come this far for a reason. The strength you need to move forward does not come from your circumstances, but from your decision not to back down. Dare to believe that what seems like an ending is just a space where your greatest victory is being built. Stay with me, because what follows will give you the clarity you've been asking for in your prayers. We often think we need to see the path clear before we begin walking, but spiritual reality works differently. Security isn't found in the absence of problems, but in the certainty that you're being guided. When you decide to take that step of trust, even with your heart racing with uncertainty, that's when the barriers begin to crumble. If you wait for the clouds to clear, you might miss the sun shining right behind them. Sometimes, life places us in situations where we feel invisible, as if our needs don't matter to anyone. There's a very profound story about a man who lived on the margins of society, someone who had been labeled by those around him as having no future. This man had no prominent position, no resources, not even the respect of those who pass him by every day. His routine was simply to survive, accepting the crumbs of attention the world offered him. Imagine for a moment what it's like to wake up feeling that your best days are behind you or that your purpose has faded. It's a profound loneliness. However, in the midst of that monotony, an unexpected moment arose. One day, the atmosphere shifted. There was a different feeling in the air, a hope drawing near. That is the same hope that knocks on your door today through this reflection. When that man learned that a transformative presence was near, he didn't remain silent. Despite his own shame and the judgments of others trying to silence him, he decided to speak out. Something inside him was much stronger than the fear of what others would say. It was a conviction that his current situation didn't have to be his final one. It's curious how, when you try to improve or seek positive change, there are always voices around trying to keep you where you are. There are people, and even your own thoughts, telling you to be quiet, not to bother anyone, to accept your fate with resignation. But true self-improvement arises when you decide to ignore the external noise and listen to the voice of your spiritual intuition. That man shouted with all his might, not out of empty despair, but because he recognized that help was within his reach. His persistence was not an act of rebellion, but an act of pure faith. He knew he didn't need to be someone important to be heard. He only needed to be authentic and consistent. Your well-being and the restoration of your peace of mind depend on that same consistency that I ask you to maintain today. Don't let the scorn of others or your own past mistakes convince you that you don't deserve a better life. The support you seek isn't conditional on your merits, but on your willingness to receive it. Keep listening carefully, because in the next part we'll see what happens when that voice of hope finally receives the answer it has been waiting for. Have you ever felt that the noise of others is louder than your own hope? There are times when the world tells you to accept it, that your situation is hopeless, and that it's better to stop trying. But today I want to tell you that your persistence is a key that will open the door that others believe is closed. Don't let the opinions of those who don't know your struggle determine your destiny. Stay with me, because we're going to discover how to transform that rejection into the strength that will lead you to your greatest blessing. It's striking to observe how people react when someone decides to seek a better life. In the story of that man we mentioned, the crowd didn't support him. On the contrary, they tried to silence him. They told him not to bother them, that his presence wasn't important, and that he should accept his place on the side of the road. It's the same voice of discouragement that you sometimes hear around you or even in your own thoughts. Try to convince you that your well-being isn't a priority. But that man made a courageous decision. Instead of remaining silent, he raised his voice with even greater determination. He refused to let shame or the judgment of others steal his opportunity to be heard. He understood that his need was far more real than the criticism of others. When you act with that kind of confidence, something powerful happens on a spiritual level. Attention is drawn to you. When she finally had the opportunity to express a desire, she didn't ask for something temporary or superficial. She went straight to the root of her problem. She asked for clarity. She asked for vision. She asked for a total transformation of her reality. And that answer came not by a stroke of luck, but because her inner confidence was the bridge to her recovery. In an instant, what had been darkness for years became a radiant light that changed her life forever. I want to ask you something with complete sincerity. How many times have you held yourself back for fear of what others might say? How many times have you stopped searching for the peace you so desperately need because someone told you to resign yourself to your problems? Those who question your hope today or mock your faith are the same ones who will be amazed tomorrow at how you manage to rise again. Your progress doesn't depend on permission of others, but on your direct connection to divine guidance. However, we must be realistic and honest on this path. Having spiritual faith doesn't mean life will suddenly become a bed of roses. There's a misconception that faith makes us immune to pain or hardship. True spiritual maturity lies in understanding that even when we face challenges, we never face them alone. Think about the stories of those who received great promises but had to cross deserts before seeing them fulfilled. Sometimes, The path to greater stability and peace leads through places we don't understand. Challenges aren't signs that you've been forgotten, but rather stages of preparation, so you can wisely handle all the good that's to come. Don't be discouraged if things look cloudy today. Rain is necessary for the earth to bear fruit, and your tears now are watering the seeds of your future well-being. Keep listening carefully, because in the next part we'll delve deeper into how to stay calm when your dreams seem slow to materialize. Spiritual presence in your life is a constant, not a fleeting event. Even if you feel you're facing a difficult trial today, remember that every step you take with confidence brings you closer to the relief you seek. Your well-being is a process, and every minute you dedicate to strengthening your spirit is an investment in your future peace of mind. Have you ever felt like life gives you a map to happiness, but then throws you into a maze with no way out? It's frustrating to feel like you're doing everything right and still get hit with things you don't deserve. Sometimes, the people we trust the most are the ones who let us down, leaving us in a void of loneliness. But today I want you to understand that those moments of darkness are not abandonment, but preparation. Don't go away, because what we're about to discuss will change your perspective on every problem you face today. There's a big difference between having a clear goal and the path we must take to reach it. Sometimes we receive a spark of hope, a vision of a calmer, more prosperous life. But suddenly, reality hits us with betrayal or an unexpected loss. It's painful when those who should be our refuge become the cause of our suffering. However, there's profound wisdom in these processes that we often only understand with time. Imagine someone who had a bright future ahead of them and, suddenly, ends up at rock bottom, far from home and everything they loved, not because of their own mistakes, but because of the envy or malice of others. Many of you feel this way today, working hard in places you dislike, facing unfair accusations, or feeling that life has trapped you in a prison of responsibilities and anxieties. The hardest part isn't the problem itself, but how long it lasts. We're not talking about a bad day or a bad week. There are periods of desolation that last for years, years of silence, of waiting for an answer that never comes, of asking yourself every night, does this really have any meaning, or have they just forgotten about me? That silence isn't absence. It's the time when your character is becoming unbreakable for what comes next. Consider this. Often, what we perceive as cruel rejection is actually a form of protection. If that person hadn't let you down, you might never have moved toward where you truly belonged. If that door hadn't slammed shut, you might have remained trapped in a situation that prevented you from growing. Sometimes life takes away what we want to give us what we truly need to thrive. Your current situation, however unfair or lonely it may seem, is the ground where the roots of your future stability are taking hold. You can't build a tall building without digging deep first. That valley of frustration is the foundation of the security you will enjoy tomorrow. Maturity doesn't come on sunny days, but on stormy nights when you decide not to give up. You may feel like you're in your own personal Egypt today, surrounded by people who don't value you or burdened with guilt that isn't yours. But I want you to remember this. The promise of well-being you feel in your heart hasn't expired. The dreams you have for your family and for your personal peace are still valid. Don't let the length of this trial make you doubt the truth of the outcome. The right time isn't what our clocks tell us, but what life's balance dictates. When you're ready to handle the blessing without losing your humility, everything will align with a speed that will amaze you. Keep listening calmly, because in the next part we'll understand how to act while we wait for the situation to take a definitive turn. What could you do today for your peace of mind? Sometimes, the greatest act of faith isn't shouting, but maintaining integrity and kindness in the face of injustice. Keeping your light burning when everything is dark is what will ultimately attract the clarity you've been searching for. Have you ever thought that your current situation is a final destination, when in reality it is just a technical stepping stone towards something much bigger? It's incredible how life can take a 180-degree turn just when we think there's no hope left. Those who ignore or belittle you today may be amazed tomorrow to see how you manage to rise with renewed strength. Don't let go of this reflection, because understanding the purpose of your waiting is the key to unlocking the peace you have sought for so long. Join me as we explore why what seems like an ending is actually the prologue to your best chapter. Sometimes justice is slow, but when it arrives, it does so with a force that erases years of bitterness. That man who spent years forgotten, suffering for reasons that weren't his own, ended up becoming the most important figure in an entire nation. What began as a family tragedy became a story of salvation for thousands. This teaches us that nothing you experience today is in vain. Every tear and every effort is being counted toward your future reward. It's vital to understand that well-being isn't a random event, but rather the result of maintaining your integrity when everything around you tempts you to give up. That emotional or professional prison you feel trapped in today doesn't have the power to hold you forever. There's a higher power that has laid out a path for you, and even if the road has detours you don't understand, the goal remains your fulfillment and stability. To support you in this growth process and strengthen your daily connection with hope, we prepared a special resource. It's a guide for deep reflection designed to accompany your mornings and give you the mental clarity you need to make better decisions. Many people are already using this material to transform their daily perspective and bring greater harmony into their homes. Life often challenges us to believe in solutions that our logic can't grasp. We become so accustomed to what's difficult, to what can be measured and touched, that we forget that the most profound changes often occur in unexpected ways. It's not about luck or coincidence, but about being aligned with your rightful purpose. When relief arrives, it's so evident that there's no room for doubt. You simply know you've been heard. Think of the great role models of perseverance. People who, despite the promises they received, had to watch their bodies age and their human potential dwindle before seeing their greatest desire fulfilled. Maintaining your vision when time seems to be running out is the bravest act of faith you can perform. Your story isn't written by what you lack today, but by the certainty of what you're building for tomorrow. Keep listening carefully, because in the next part we're going to explore how to act when time seems to be running out and the answers aren't yet visible. Your well-being is a commitment that begins with the calm you choose to cultivate in this very moment. Have you paused to be grateful for what you already have, even in the midst of trials? Gratitude is the language that accelerates healing. By subscribing and sharing this reflection, you are sowing hope not only in your own life, but also in the lives of others who, like you, need to be reminded that the best is yet to come. Have you ever felt like time has run out and the biggest opportunities in your life have simply passed you by? It is very common to think that, after a certain age or certain failures, we no longer have a right to dream of a new beginning. However, spiritual reality teaches us that the clock of life does not operate under the rules of human logic. Don't withdraw from this reflection, because today you'll understand why your best years are not behind you, but are being prepared right now. Join me as we explore how what seems too late is actually the perfect moment for real transformation. Sometimes we receive inner promptings, promises of peace, or visions of a better future that seem utterly absurd given our current situation. Imagine someone being told they will leave an immense legacy after they've already lived past 100. According to any medical textbook or everyday logic, that's a biological impossibility. It's natural that, faced with such grand promises, our first reaction is a disbelieving smile, thinking life is playing a cruel joke on us. That feeling that it's too late for me is one of the biggest obstacles to achieving fulfillment. We convince ourselves that our time of vigor, of starting new ventures, or of seeing our family restored has already passed. But consider this. Universal wisdom often waits until our human capabilities are exhausted to show us that true support comes from a higher plane. When you no longer have the strength to do it on your own, that's when spiritual support becomes most evident and powerful. That woman who, upon hearing that life would flourish in her despite her advanced age, couldn't help but laugh, represents many of us when we're told we can still be happy or prosperous. But that laugh of doubt is destined to become a laugh of amazement and joy. What you consider a closed chapter in your story today may simply be the blank space needed to write the most important paragraph of your life. Think about it. If that man had given in to the evidence of his weary body or the accumulated years, entire generations of purpose would have been lost. His decision to maintain hope, despite what the mirror and society said, changed the course of humanity. You, too, have a responsibility to your own story. If you give up now because you think time has passed, you will be depriving your loved ones of the testimony of your overcoming adversity. True strength lies not in ignoring reality, but in choosing not to be enslaved by it. It's not about denying that time passes or that difficulties exist, but about trusting that there's a force that transcends calendars. Your well-being has no expiration date, and your capacity to receive good things depends not on your birth certificate, but on the openness of your heart. Often, nature's most beautiful processes take time to mature. Don't despair if you feel others have progressed faster or that you started later. Everyone has their own pace and their own harvest season. What matters is not when you begin to see results, but the consistency with which you keep the flame of your faith burning while you wait. Continue listening calmly, because in the next part we'll delve deeper into how to handle the pressure from those around you when everyone tells you your time has passed. Your peace of mind is a treasure that deserves to be protected from the opinions of others and your own self-doubt. Remember that the one who has a final say on your destiny is not the clock, but the higher power that gave you life. What would happen if today you decided to ignore the "it can't be done" that surrounds you and take a step toward that longing you keep silent? The transformation of your current reality begins the very moment you decide that your story still has many brilliant pages to be written. Have you ever wondered why the most important answers in your life seem to arrive just when you feel like you can't take it anymore? Sometimes, relief doesn't come when we want it to, but when our own strength is exhausted to make way for something greater. Don't let a diagnosis, debt, or negative comment dictate the end of your story. Today you will understand that the silence you have experienced is not oblivion, but the prelude to an answer that will leave everyone amazed. Stay with me, because what comes next will give you the peace you've been searching for to move forward. It's striking to observe how patience works on a spiritual level. Often, we despair because we see the years go by and what we long for so much doesn't materialize. We might think that if things were easier or faster, we would suffer less. However, there's profound wisdom in waiting. If relief came when we still believe we can control everything, we would never experience the true magnitude of divine support. That man we're talking about, who waited a century to see his dream fulfilled, left us with an invaluable lesson. Conviction doesn't depend on what we see in the mirror or on what external circumstances tell us. He chose not to focus on his physical limitations, but on the certainty that there is a higher power capable of restoring what seems dead. He was fully convinced that the word he received was more real than his own old age. Perhaps today you find yourself facing a seemingly insurmountable wall. It could be a health problem, a family complication, or an emotional burden that keeps you awake at night. The world tells you to be realistic, to accept that there's nothing more you can do, but spiritual reality challenges you to look beyond. Sometimes, the situation reaches its absolute limit precisely so that, when the solution appears, there will be no doubt that it was an extraordinary intervention. It's fascinating to think that waiting time isn't wasted time. It's time for growth. God often allows human resources to be exhausted, so that his presence becomes undeniable. If the outcome had come when it was logical, many would say it was due to your own effort or mere coincidence. But when it arrives when there is no more human way out, everyone has to acknowledge that there is a protective hand upon you. Therefore, if you feel the deadline has passed, if it seems the opportunities have definitively closed, remain calm. Don't let the anxiety of the clock overwhelm you. Tranquility is your best ally right now. I want you to do an exercise in trust right now. Affirm internally that you are not alone and that your well-being is guaranteed by a force that knows no impossibilities. No matter who surrounds you or where you are, that certainty must arise from the very depths of your being. Sometimes, the magnitude of what's being prepared for us is so great that it frightens us. We look at ourselves and ask, am I really the right person for this? We feel we lack the tools and knowledge to handle what's coming. But remember, it's not about your current abilities, but about the direction you're receiving. Keep listening, because in the next part, we'll understand how to act when the purpose seems too big for us to handle. Your current well-being depends on you ceasing to fight against time and beginning to flow with hope. The transformation of your home and your peace of mind is closer than you imagine. Trust that the process you are experiencing will have a bright ending, and that each day of waiting has been an investment in the strong and wise person you are becoming. Have you ever felt that your vision for your life is so immense that you're afraid to even mention it? It's normal to feel small when faced with projects that seem to exceed our current capabilities. Sometimes, following your spiritual intuition will make you look like someone who has lost touch with reality in the eyes of others. Don't let the taunts of those who lack vision stop you from building your own shelter. Stay with me, because today you're going to discover that what others call madness is, in reality, the blueprint for your future security. It's common that when we decide to make a profound change or pursue a higher purpose, we feel internal pressure. We look ahead and think, this is too much for me. However, the greatness of a mission doesn't depend on who carries it out, but on who inspires it. Often, life's most monumental tasks are entrusted to us precisely because we have the necessary perseverance to complete them, even if we don't have all the tools at the beginning. Imagine someone being asked to build a massive shelter in a place where, according to everyone's logic, it makes no sense whatsoever. At that time, the environment was dominated by negativity and a lack of values. It was society that had lost its way. You too might feel that way today, surrounded by an environment that doesn't share your dreams or that tries to infect you with its discouragement and lack of faith. The most curious thing about following a higher authority is that sometimes the instructions seem absurd to human reasoning. That man was asked to prepare for something never before seen, in a place that didn't seem suitable. The same thing happens to you when you decide to save money, start a business, or renovate your home in the midst of a crisis. The world watches you and doesn't understand why you're still working on something that isn't yet visible. That project wasn't something that could be finished in an afternoon. It required decades of physical effort, patience, and, above all, a thick skin to withstand criticism. Imagine acquaintances passing by and mocking that old man hammering away under the sun, without a drop of water in sight. That's the ultimate test. Persevering when results are slow and judgments abound. Each hammer blow was an act of faith that the warning he'd received was true. True integrity is demonstrated when you persevere, even when called delusional or fanatical. Noah wasn't a construction expert, but he had a clear direction. Your well-being doesn't depend on being a professional in every area of life, but rather on your ability to be consistent and true to that inner voice that tells you the effort will be worthwhile. How many times have you abandoned a project halfway through because someone laughed at you? How many times have you doubted your path because it doesn't align with others' expectations? History teaches us that those who mock are often the same ones who later seek refuge when the storm hits. Maintaining your focus on building your spiritual and emotional stability is what will save you and your loved ones when the world's difficulties increase. Keep listening, because in the next part we're going to see what happens when years of work finally reach their moment of truth. Your perseverance is not in vain. Every day you choose not to give up, you're adding another plank to the arc of your peace of mind. Remember that no matter how barren the ground may seem today, foresight and consistent effort are what guarantee that when the landscape changes, you'll be ready. What plank will you place in your life's plan today? Sometimes, the greatest progress is simply not letting go of the hammer. Even if the sky remains clear, your faith is the engine that transforms the impossible into a solid structure where your family can rest in peace. Would you be able to work on a project for decades without seeing a single drop of rain, just because a voice inside you assures you it's the right thing to do? Most people give up on their dreams after a few months if they don't see results, but true transformation requires a consistency that defies logic. Don't let the pressure from those who build nothing force you to put down your tools. Stay with me until the end, because today you'll discover how to protect that longing you carry in your heart before it's too late. Your perseverance is the only barrier between success and oblivion. Imagine staying the course for over a century while the whole world mocks you. It wasn't days, it wasn't months. It was a lifetime dedicated to a vision no one else could see. That man didn't stop to argue with the crowd or try to convince the skeptics. He understood that his energy should be in building, not explaining. Too often, we waste valuable time trying to make others understand our plans, when all that matters is our faithfulness to the mission we've been given. A moment arrived when the preparation time ended. The structure was solid, the preparations complete, and sovereignly, the opportunity for refuge closed. Only then, when the skies shifted, did those who spend their time criticizing understand the value of others' efforts. That is a harsh but necessary reality. There are moments in life when the doors of opportunity close, and it is better to be inside, having worked, than outside, having judged. Today I want to invite you to reflect. What is it that you feel you must build, even if it seems like you're going against the grain? Perhaps it's a personal project that others call a waste of time, a family reconciliation that everyone sees as impossible, or a life change that breaks with what's expected of you. If that idea persists in your mind and gives you peace despite the difficulties, it's because your true future security lies there. What moves me most about this story is that the reward wasn't immediate. True obedience isn't fueled by constant proof, but by unwavering inner conviction. Working without seeing evidence is the ultimate test of character. If you need everything to go perfectly today to keep believing, your foundation is fragile. But if you're able to keep it year after year, even when the ground remains dry, you're demonstrating that your well-being doesn't depend on the weather, but on your spiritual roots. God deeply honors those who remain steadfast when no one is watching and no one is supporting them. Sometimes, delay is simply the time you need for your work to become strong enough to withstand what is to come. Don't compare yourself to those who move quickly on level ground. You are building something that must float in the storm. Often, people laugh at what they don't understand because your determination frightens them. Your persistence reminds them of their own lack of purpose. So don't take criticism personally. It's just background noise from a world that has forgotten how to listen to its intuition. Your calm and focus are your best tools for finishing what you started. Continue listening with a calm heart, because in the next part we'll see how to identify the exact moment when your efforts will begin to bear fruit. Well-being isn't a coincidence. It's the consequence of not giving up when everyone else did. Remember that what seems like madness to many today will tomorrow be a testament to your wisdom and the protection you built for your loved ones. Are you ready to take the next step in your personal development? Clarity will come at the right time. But for now, your only task is to keep working with the certainty that nothing you do with love and faith will be in vain. Have you ever had to choose between what your heart desires and what you know is right for a greater purpose? It is in those moments of extreme doubt that we define who we really are. Even when the path becomes dark and the weight of responsibility seems unbearable, there's an inner strength that drives us to keep going. Don't leave now, because we are about to enter the deepest part of this reflection, where you will understand the value of your sacrifice. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will give you the courage to face your own challenges with renewed peace. There's a world of difference between fulfilling a task out of obligation and doing it with genuine dedication. Sometimes, life throws us situations we'd rather avoid, challenges that cause us such deep anguish that we feel our souls are breaking. It's natural to feel that knot in our stomach when we know the next step will be the hardest of our lives. However, true greatness doesn't lie in the absence of fear, but in the decision to move forward despite it. Imagine someone who knew perfectly well where their path ended, and yet still chose to walk it step by step. It wasn't a decision taken lightly, but a conscious act of will in the midst of immense loneliness. Surely you too have experienced those sleepless nights, asking the universe to make things different, to lighten the load, or provide a shortcut to avoid the pain. In those moments of absolute silence, the most honest question we can ask ourselves arises: is there another way to achieve this? It's a plea for relief born from our humanity. But right after that doubt, the sign of true spiritual maturity appears. Submitting our personal desires to a plan that benefits everyone is the purest act of love there is. It's not about passive resignation, but about a powerful alignment with what is right and necessary. Thanks to that strength in times of crisis, today we can speak of hope. If there had been a retreat at that moment of maximum pressure, the world would be a place without solutions. Your own life is a reflection of this. Many of the blessings you enjoy today are the result of having said yes in moments when everything inside you wanted to say no. Obedience to our life's mission is not a bed of roses. It is a commitment to integrity. Sometimes the well-being of our family or our own peace of mind requires us to go through periods of profound discomfort. But remember this: what seems like a painful sacrifice today will be the foundation of your freedom and that of your loved ones tomorrow. Jesus taught us that vulnerability doesn't make us weak, but authentic. Feeling sadness or anguish doesn't negate our faith. On the contrary, it tests and purifies it. Your current well-being depends on learning to trust that, even in your most distressing moments, you are being sustained by a purpose that transcends what you can see. Continue listening with an open heart, because in the next part we'll see how that resounding yes to life and a higher guidance is what ultimately opens the doors to true restoration. The peace you seek isn't found in running away, but in accepting that every step you take has eternal meaning. Trust that, after the longest night, there's always a dawn waiting to reward your courage. What decision are you putting off for fear of the effort requires? Today is a day to embrace your purpose with sincerity, knowing that you don't walk alone, and that your perseverance is the bridge to a life full of meaning.